afternoon. Good afternoon. I see you over there in Clubhouse, Miss Jackie. Come on up to the stage. Join me if you would. I'm going to introduce you at about 5:30 if you can stay with me for a while. But I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. For those of you who are following me here on YouTube, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is Keeping Up with Congress. Keeping Up with Congress, I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, right here for Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. If you are following me right here on YouTube, hit the like, hit that like button, hit the like button, hit the share, hit that notification, hit the subscribe button, y'all. Again, this is Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. It's Wednesday the 21st. I just can't believe how quickly this year is passing us by. Yesterday, I spent the afternoon talking about reparations, y'all. I did a whole reparations edition on Keeping Up with Congress. Yesterday was the first time that I actually had an opportunity to sit down and read, y'all. I've been traveling. I've been on the campaign trail. I've been on the campaign trail now it was a whole week last week. Stomping, getting the word out, sharing the word about this candidacy, about this campaign to the United States Senate, y'all. Keeping Up with Congress Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, y'all. Join me right here again on YouTube from 5 to 5:30 Eastern, and then right here in these clubhouse streets, y'all, at 5 o'clock. Yes. So let's get this party started. I'm going to talk about what's going on with reparations. I always like to bring you reparations information. Always like to bring it to you. This was a letter, y'all. Let me make this screen larger. For those of you who are watching me right here on YouTube, I'll make it a little larger for you. Let's make this larger. Zoom in. This is a letter. This is an opinion piece that was written. I thought it was quite interesting. Regarding the Associated Press June 20th story, mayors commit to reparations project. You know, this reparations narrative is bigger. It is not just happening in one or two local municipalities. This thing is happening across the nation. So this was a letter. It says, I would hope much thought and little politics goes into the ultimate plan adopted. Certainly many following generations of descendants of American slaves have been economically negatively affected. Giving cash handouts, as has been done with other reparations, i.e. Japanese, is not the solution. Here, as cash will rapidly disappear and not be used for the best benefit. Now, who is he to tell us how this reparations cash would be used? But nevertheless, this is his opinion. It says, first of all, reparations should be limited to true descendants of slaves, as many African Americans came to the United States from other countries after slavery ended. It says documenting this may be difficult, but best efforts should be made. Goes on to say reparations should be in the form of benefits that will benefit the current descendants of future generations, such as free or reduced tuition, subsidized or guaranteed housing or small business loans, medical care and insurance, medicines, free childcare, and help with job search and retraining, among others. This opinion, because that's all this is his opinion. This opinion goes on to say these things will benefit the current generation, help develop economic wealth that will be passed on to future generations. And his last little slam dunk, I guess, is a cash payout will work about as well as welfare has. That was his slap in the face at the end. So he says a cash payout will work about as well as welfare has. Shaking my head, y'all. This is his opinion. So I just wanted you to see what was on the minds and in the hearts of those who are watching reparations, who feel like they have something to say. So that's what he had to say. I'm assuming it's a he. Yeah. Jeffrey Richardson. Thank you for your opinion, but we're going to keep it pushing. Reparations now, y'all. Reparations now. So this article is to restore North Nashville's Black middle class. Local policymakers should pursue reparations. To restore North Nashville's Black middle class, local policymakers should pursue reparations. This article I thought was quite interesting as well. It says North Nashville is one of the most economically precarious locations in the metropolitan area. The neighborhood where Jefferson Street sits posts the highest incarceration rate in the nation, 14%, according to research by our colleagues at Brookings. This must be contextualized in a discussion of the area's rampant poverty. That same Brookings report notes that child poverty in this zip code is a stunning 42% compared to the most recent official national rate of 14%. And despite the presence of 4 HBCUs, the college attainment rate is only 30% compared to statewide rate of 43%. So North Nashville, y'all, it says the correlation between poverty and incarceration is well documented. However, we shouldn't view poverty as causing criminality and higher incarceration. It says rather both are symptomatic of the systemic racism that resulted in the destruction of assets that increase social and economic mobility. It goes on to say federal, state, and local governments have yet to provide recompense to the residents of North Nashville and other areas for federally backed programs and initiatives that destroyed Black neighborhoods and the wealth and opportunities those places provided. So this was an article about North Nashville, y'all. It goes on to say we need to broaden our scope of policy recommendations for how to tackle underlying economic conditions. So North Nashville, y'all, is suffering and it's hurting. But I wanted to bring you this article. It says, the rest of it says, the reality is that hurting communities cannot nonprofit their way out of poverty. And this is where nonprofits come in and they try to steer our communities. But this is it's real clear that the reality is that hurting communities cannot nonprofit their way out of poverty. Services that don't address market failures and structural racism will have limited impact. This is especially true when these communities have suffered historic injustices. The entrenched poverty and poor economic conditions in North Nashville are the direct result of racial injustices tied to the construction of I-40 and the destruction of Black communities that followed. Goes on to say decades of divestment and neglect worsen these economic conditions. So this is North Nashville, y'all. It says restoring North Nashville's Black middle class will require more than tax abatements and flashy development projects. If state and local policymakers are serious about revitalizing these communities, they need to pursue local reparations policy. So this is a push for some local initiatives. It says local reparations aren't a substitute for state and federal reparations. I'm glad they made that clear, and we all know it, that local reparations aren't a substitute for state and federal reparations, but these local policies do matter, and they can help to rectify harm in ways that improve upon the more generalized development mechanism that lack hard metrics and often lead to underwhelming results. So I'm glad this article about North Nashville made it clear that local reparations aren't a substitute for state and federal reparations, but they need to do something. So I found that quite interesting. So I wanted to bring this reparations information to you. So I'll move on to the next one. This is one day, maybe we can listen to this. Maybe we have enough time today. It's about 4 minutes. So it says, federal payments to Black Kansas farmers come too late for generations who face discrimination. So this is an article about a lawsuit that's been going on. These people are going to get something, but it's too late. It's too late. The farmers that are getting this relief, it's too late. Let me see if we can listen and play it, y'all. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I thought this was a very interesting article. You know, Let me stop sharing real quick and bring it back to the screen. And let me share again. Let me try this, y'all. I want to make sure you can hear it. Y'all give me a thumbs up when I start playing it if you can hear it on YouTube. I know you'll be able to hear it over in Clubhouse. Share the audio. All right. I think I got it, y'all. I think I got it. All right. Okay. I think we got it. All right, let's play it. I want you to hear this. I actually read the article, but it was so interesting that I don't want y'all to miss a beat. Let's play it.
Sending payments to Black farmers this summer in recognition of how it denied them loans and assistance over generations, effectively transferring farmland to their white neighbors. Yet, as David Condos of the Kansas News Service reports, the money comes too late to reverse the decades of damage caused by discrimination in farming.
Janella Holmes walks along the edge of a field of golden wheat near the northwest Kansas town of Nicodemus.
And so this section right here.
She heads the Kansas Black Farmers Association, and back in 1877, her great-great-grandfather joined the wave of homesteaders who staked their claims here.
All of this was black owned at one time. 6 by 6 miles, black owned, black settled, and I wanted you to just see just how vast it is.
Nicodemus is the last remaining town out of many that were settled by formerly enslaved people who migrated from the south to the western frontier. Kansas alone had about a dozen black farming colonies.
When you think about farming in the historical context of African Americans and migration, what you see is the land is the draw.
Angela Bates is another descendant of those Nicodemus settlers. She runs the town's historical society. At its peak, she says the land here was home to nearly 150 black farmers. But today,
no one's farming in Nicodemus right now.
There's a few black farmers who live in neighboring towns, but not many. It's a pattern that's repeated across the country. 100 years ago, Kansas was home to upwards of 150,000 acres of black-owned farmland. That number is now closer to 10,000. Nationwide, about 90% of the acres that were once black-owned has slipped away.
If something is not done in the next few years, the next generation, meaning like 30 years from now, we could literally be talking about there's only a few hundred black farmers left in this country.
Thomas Mitchell is a law professor at Texas A&M University and a member of the Land Loss and Reparations Project research team. He says systematic discrimination by the U.S. Department of Agriculture drove one black farmer after another off their land.
This wasn't the exception to the rule. This wasn't a bug. This was a feature of the system.
By the government's own admission, many black farmers couldn't get money to buy land or operate their farms because they were denied credit for bogus reasons. And when the farmers filed complaints, the USDA often did nothing. So now the federal government is offering around $4 billion to make amends, paying off loans of farmers who survived despite racist policies. But Mitchell says his team's preliminary research puts the actual amount of wealth black farmers have lost at $300 billion.
I got something I'll show you.
Bernard Bates, Angela's cousin, was one of those farmers. At his home west of Nicodemus, he thumbs through a stack of faded color photos from when his farm was foreclosed on nearly 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's when they loaded us on my machinery. They sold our machinery first, then they sold the land.
Among the papers on his desk sits an affidavit from a local loan officer. It says the credit association denied Bates the help he needed to keep his farm afloat, deliberately to push him out of farming. His 950 acres, the homestead, even the wheat he'd harvested, were all taken away.
My wife tells everybody else, if I had a gun, I said I'd probably shot somebody. So we done worked all hard all year, and we stood there and watched some steel wheat all night long.
Bates was part of a landmark USDA settlement in the 1990s that was supposed to send billions to black farmers who had been treated unfairly. But he says he's still waiting for that money.
I haven't got a penny yet.
And now the new federal effort to help black farmers is already getting pushback. Banks say they'll lose out on interest payments. White farmers have sued, claiming discrimination because they don't have access to it. Janella Holmes, the head of the Black Farmers Group, says her organization has received threats over the payments. Yet she figures only a quarter of the farmers she works with will even be eligible. And many of the farmers who do qualify are skeptical about signing up. But if the relief does help any black farmers hold on to their land, she says it could be the first step toward making things right.
Do I want handouts? Absolutely not. I just want to be treated fairly and put in a position where we can be at least on the football field.
For the Kansas News Service, I'm David Condos in Nicodemus.
The Kansas News Service is a collaboration of High Plains Public Radio, KCUR, KMUW, and Kansas Public Radio.
All right. I just thought that was just, just to hear what has happened to our Black farmers, across this nation. 90%, they're gone. They're gone. So we need reparations. We need reparations. We got to go back and buy our land, because I don't know what we can, hopefully we can make them give it to us. But hell, with the $850,000 plus each one of us will get, hopefully we can collaborate and we can go get us what we need. That 40 acres and a mule. Whew. I just wanted you to hear it for yourself, everybody. But I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I come to you again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when I am not on the campaign trail. I come to you 5 o'clock p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have not gone to the website, I encourage you to go to my website. It is Tamara, Tamara, 4 FOR, Georgia spelled out.com. That's Tamara4Georgia.com. Go to the website, y'all. Go to the website. Let's dive into these bills. All right, let's start with the Senate bills. We're going to start with the Senate bills today. This is Senate Bill 466, Senate Bill 466. This is the Kelsey Smith Act, the Kelsey Smith Act. This was introduced by Senator Jerry Moran, Republican out of Kansas. Jerry Moran, Republican out of Kansas. This bill requires a mobile or internet voice service provider to disclose the location information of a device pursuant to certain requests. So I had to look that up. So I'm thinking, you want the service provider to disclose my location? Why? That was my question. So of course, I looked it up. We researched this bill, and this bill, the Kelsey Act, is to require wireless communication providers to provide call location information to law enforcement officials when responding to a call for emergency service or in an emergency situation that involves the risk of death or serious physical harm. So, okay, there's a caveat. There's a reason why they're requiring the service provider to give your information on your location. So this says this legislation is named after Kelsey Smith, who was abducted in broad daylight from an Overland Park, Kansas department store and murdered on June 2nd, 2007. The abduction was captured on the store's security camera, leaving doubt of the emergency nature of the circumstances. 4 days after she disappeared, authorities were able to locate Kelsey's body after her wireless provider released the ping or call location information from her cell phone. Providing this information as fast as possible is critical to ensure law enforcement officials can rescue victims in imminent danger of death or serious harm when every second counts. Okay, so there's the reason why they're going to be able, they're requesting that your wireless communicator be able to give your location immediately. I just don't want it to be used for any other purpose. So that's Senate Bill 466. Senate Bill 477, Senate Bill 467, Senate Bill 467 is Effective Suicide Screening and Assessment in the Emergency Department Act of 2021. Effective Suicide Screening and Assessment in the Emergency Department Act of 2021. This bill requires the Department of Health and Human Services to award grants to hospitals to improve their capacity to identify patients in emergency departments who are at risk of suicide and connect those patients with the mental health treatments and services. So this is Senator Murkowski, Lisa Murkowski. She's a Republican out of, what is that? AK is Alaska, y'all, AK. Senator Murkowski, S467. Senate Bill 468 is the Railroad Rehabilitation and Financing Innovation Act. The Railroad Rehabilitation and Financing Innovation Act. This is Senator Thune, John Thune. He's a Republican out of South Dakota. Look this one up. This bill is to improve the railroad rehabilitation and improvement financing, which is the RRIF loan program, by providing dedicated funding for RRIF financing costs, streamlining the application process, and extending loan terms for certain assets. So I still didn't quite understand what it was, but here it is. It says states like South Dakota rely on short line railroads to transport agricultural products and other goods to market. And the RRIF program was originally designed to provide stable financing to small railroads for infrastructure investment, says Thune. Unfortunately, short lines are often unable to afford the time and expense associated with the current RRIF application process, discouraging them from using the program. This legislation makes necessary updates to RRIF so short lines are better able to use the program as originally intended. So this is transportation for railroads and that RRIF loan program. This is Senator Thune, John Thune. He's a Republican out of South Dakota. Senate Bill 469. Senate Bill 469 is Promoting Women in Trucking Workforce Act. Promoting Women in Trucking Workforce Act. I love it when I see women truckers, y'all. I'm like, they doing the doggone thing. I've seen a few. I've actually saw some pictures, I think, on Instagram. They have all these women truckers that, got their own swag out there, doing their thing in trucking. I just think it's, just interesting to see women getting behind those big old 18-wheelers and pulling their loads. So this is Senate Bill 469. It's Promoting Women in Trucking Workforce Act. Senator Jerry Moran, Republican out of Kansas. This bill directs the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration to establish and facilitate a Women of Trucking Advisory Board to review and report on policies and programs that, one, provide education, training, mentorship, or outreach to women in the trucking industry, and two, recruit, retain, or advance women into the trucking industry. So this is quite interesting legislation. Like I say, it's good to see women out there pulling them big old loads. S469. Senate Bill 470. Senate Bill 470 is the Great Dismal Swamp National Heritage Area Act. This is the Great Dismal Swamp National Heritage Area Act. This is Senator Kaine, Tim Kaine, Democrat out of Virginia. This bill directs the Department of the Interior to assess the suitability and feasibility of designating a study area comprised of cities and counties in Virginia and counties in North Carolina as a national heritage area to be known as the Great Dismal Swamp National Heritage Area. So this is to designate certain lands that are over in Virginia and North Carolina as the Great Dismal Swamp National Heritage Area. So this is Senator Kaine, Tim Kaine, Democrat out of Virginia. Senate Bill 471. Senate Bill 471 is the Members of Congress Pension Opt-out Clarification Act. So this is Mike Braun, Senator Mike Braun. He's a Republican out of Indiana. Senate Bill 471, Members of Congress Pension Opt-out Clarification Act. I'm like, okay, so he wants them to opt out of pensions? Let's see. So I looked it up. It said this bill would allow members of the House of Representatives or Congress, basically, to opt out of the federal employment retirement system, the FERS. The members of Congress who choose to save for retirement should not be forced into a system that mandates a taxpayer-funded pension. So this gives them the ability to opt out of the pension that they are able to receive in Congress. So this is Senator Braun, Mike Braun, Republican out of Indiana. But I also looked into the next bill, Senate Bill 472. Same legislator, Mike Braun, Republican out of Indiana. It says this bill is called the EPIC Act. So this bill excludes future members of Congress from the federal employees retirement system, the FERS system. It excludes future members of Congress from the FERS system and requires members currently enrolled in FERS or the civil retirement system to opt in to continue their enrollment. So he's playing politics, y'all. For him to go from Senate Bill 471, where he's talking about opting out, to Senate Bill 472, they're opting in. I guess he's trying to figure out, will they be willing to pass legislation that will opt them out or pass legislation that will opt them in? I don't know what kind of game he playing, but this is politics and politics, y'all. I told you we will not get reparations without negotiations, and they're playing the game, and he's obviously playing the game. So Senate Bill 471 and 472 are like, which one is going to work kind of thing. That's what it looks like to me. But that's the kind of game we're going to have to play when we get to Washington and we want our reparations. We're going to have to figure out what makes them tick, what's going to get what we want. Senate Bill 471 and 472, I think, is a prime example of playing this game of politics, y'all. Politics. Senate Bill 473. Senate Bill 473 is the COVID-19 Bankruptcy Relief Extension Act of 2021. COVID-19 Bankruptcy Relief Extension Act of 2021. This is Senator Durbin, Richard Durbin, Democrat, Illinois. This bill extends existing provisions that provide relief to debtors in bankruptcy, including those related to the COVID-19. So this is extending relief to those who are in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy Relief Extension Act of 2021. Senator Durbin, Richard Durbin, is a Democrat out of Illinois. Got about 2 more minutes and we got about 2 more bills, y'all. So Senate Bill 474. Senate Bill 474 is a bill to prohibit the Export-Import Bank of the United States from providing financing to persons with seriously delinquent tax debt. So this is a rich people problem. A bill to prohibit the Export-Import Bank of the United States from providing financing to persons with seriously delinquent tax debt. It says this bill prohibits the Export-Import Bank from providing financing to a person with seriously delinquent tax debt or for a project in which any participant has seriously delinquent tax debt. Senate Bill 474. Sound like a rich people's problem. Rich person's problem. This ain't for the average. So he's protecting somebody's interests. Something, somebody, somewhere. Senate Bill 475. I thought you guys would find the National Independence Day Act. Senate Bill 475. For those of you that did not know, this bill didn't just fall out the sky. It looks like, it was already in the works. It was introduced by Markey, Senator Markey, Edward Markey, Democrat out of Massachusetts. Yeah, this became law. We all know we now have Juneteenth as a federal holiday. So it says this bill establishes Juneteenth, National Independence Day, as a legal public holiday. So here it is. Lots of co-sponsors. 60 of them. Here they are, y'all, in alphabetical order. Well, maybe not alphabetical order. Looks like they're in order by the date that they actually signed on, maybe. Or are they in alphabetical order? Nope, they're in alphabetical order. Nope, they're not. But they're here, y'all. There's Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock. So they signed on, and he signed on in late May, and he signed on in June. So yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. There's your Juneteenth legislation, y'all. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. We are at the half hour. I just want to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Thank you in the Clubhouse space. Thank you. Please go to the website if you haven't already. Donate, be a part of this campaign. I am every day working to make sure that we secure this seat to the United States Senate. It will take resources. It will take volunteers. We are not going to get this without putting in some hard work, y'all. But this is a race that we can absolutely win. So I encourage you to go to the website. It's tamaraforgeorgia.com, tamaraforgeorgia.com. And I will see you tomorrow right here on YouTube Clubhouse. I'll come over there for just a few minutes, but I'll see you tomorrow right here on YouTube, 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamaraforgeorgia.com. www.tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress.